call Chris Farfoy.
Mr Chair, it is a genuine pleasure to speak to the Residential Tenancies Amendment Bill, and can I refer to Clause 38, which I think a number of my colleagues have previously in the debate. Like Denise Roach, who said in her speech that she grew up in a railways house, I too spent most of my younger years in a state house in Christchurch. I don't think I left it till I was about 20. I think my parents moved in there about 1976, so I would have been this age of installation. And I think Jacinda Ardern, my colleague, poses a decent question to ask of the Minister around any work that they have done around how this piece of work will make the lives of those people in low to medium income families better off and safer and healthier in those homes. And the reason I ask that, Mr Chair, is that I grew up in one of those homes. I suffer from asthma. I still do to this day. And I think it's because of the lack of decent insulation that my family home had that I still suffer from asthma from time to time. Sometimes it's my own management, but most of it, Mr Chair, I believe is because of the home that I grew up in. And I don't say that lightly. There are a couple of occasions where my late father has told me that the doctor said, well, that was a close one when I was young because I had such bad asthma attacks that I nearly died. So I believe we come to this House with a responsibility to make the lives of people that follow us markedly better. Certainly one of the things that I push for in my own electorate. And I think with all sincerity and all generosity and being fair to the government, while they're trying to make an effort with this piece of legislation, I don't think it goes far enough. Because I fear that the same kind of experiences that my family went through, with me having asthma when I grow up, will happen to the same families that grow up in poorly insulated homes that we are allowing to continue to happen under this piece of legislation. On this side of the House, we've argued that as well as insulation, there needs to be a decent mode of heating, something again that my family didn't have. We had fan heaters which cost us far too much to run, and I'm talking here in the 1980s and the 1990s. So I'm asking in all seriousness why families who are low incomes and poorly insulated houses, why they have to go through the same experience that my family went through 20 years ago. Why should parents have to worry about their children who get admitted constantly into hospital with illnesses like asthma, like me, and in some cases those children will pass away unnecessarily? Because we here in Parliament haven't learned the lessons of 20 to 30 years ago. I don't think my parents overly enjoy the experience of taking me to the hospital and nearly seeing me pass away from an asthma attack. Yet in this House, we seriously think it's okay to let those conditions of a 1978 insulation standard to continue to be okay for families here in New Zealand. It's simply not good enough. I was one of the lucky ones. I still go to hospital every so often with an asthma attack. But why should we allow this to continue to happen? Someone from that side of the House, and they already have, stood up and said, well, what did you guys do in the last period of government? Well, are we going to sit here and continue to play politics like that? Is that all you're going to say? And laughter over there. Yeah. It is. But I don't think that it's good enough that we allow the conditions in terms of heat and insulation to continue to be that of a 1978, 1980s, 1990s standard. And the government can laugh at my speech, they can say whatever they like. But what I think is that we deserve to do better for the families out there, like mine, who are living in these substandard conditions, who don't want their kids to go to hospital, to have life-threatening illnesses, not just once, but constantly. And I think we owe it to the people of New Zealand who are in these conditions and these substandard houses to make sure that they can live a decent life. I was lucky enough to do that because my parents cared for me and looked after me. And I think we deserve that. I think other families deserve that too. And I'm here now, and when people ask why I'm a Member of Parliament, because I got the lucky chance to have a decent home and be looked after. And I'm in Parliament to be able to make sure we do better for the children in New Zealand, and we can do better, and we must do better.
Stuart Nash.